really what a lot of recruiters are really focusing on right now is really kind of going back to the basics. I think that for a long time, a lot of what recruiting entailed was going out and actually finding and identifying candidates. I think with the tools that are out there, profile aggregators and that sort of thing, it's actually becoming so easy to do that now. They've realized that the major point of competitive differentiation isn't finding the candidate, it's actually getting the candidate to respond to a call to action. So I think those core communication, relationship building skills are starting to resurface, and I'm really seeing a move from automation to personalization. What today's recruiter is really more becoming is inclined to be a little bit more like a marketer, because so much of the communication is more or less around a job-based call to action. So I think that having the skill to know and be able to test what is going to generate the most responses and be the most scalable and efficient way of doing so is definitely more of the skill set than traditionally, which was just identifying candidates and then screening them against positions. So in terms of the technology, I think that what I'm seeing a lot of is obviously companies are very invested in their applicant tracking and HCM systems, but at the same time, I think that increasingly there's a bunch of different integrations that are starting to pop up. So I think within the point solution space, really the major tools that I'm starting to see are things that are overlays around two things: reporting and analytics. So being able to then capture data that previously wasn't being tracked in the systems of record, and then also CRM functionality. So I think that it's more or less moving from, again, a system of record to a system of engagement. And it's putting a premium not just on process, but on the people who are part of the process. So when it comes to candidate experience, I think that it's one of those issues that everyone cares about on a case-to-case basis, but when you look at candidates in aggregate, then it kind of falls through. I think that a lot of the candidate experience issues are going to get solved by just doing basic stuff. If you take 40 minutes to fill out even an application and then never hear back, obviously that's a terrible experience. So I think just a cleaner UI, UX, and an easier process for the candidate is really the fix. So I do think it's a technology issue, not necessarily a personal issue. I think that as we start to generate new sorts of analytics and reporting, big data is obviously a commodity, but at the same time we are able to analyze and get data that we never have before. I think you're really going to start seeing a shift in the way that companies are spending money. And I think that a lot of that's probably going to take the form of consumer marketing. Again, because all recruiting now is happening online. So if you think about Google or a search engine as being most people's destination to get anywhere, I really think that increasingly you're going to start seeing an emphasis on SEO, SEM, and content as being kind of primary drivers of spend, as opposed to job ads that are owned by another site, right? Because you're not getting any value in that anymore necessarily. You're getting value in being found and indexed. When you look at the traditional marketing funnel, it's the exact same as the hiring funnel. I mean, what you're talking about is taking leads, qualifying them, segmenting them, and then being able to specifically deliver information that's relevant to them. So I think that when it comes to an employer brand, I think that a lot of that is probably going to go by the wayside when it comes to creating it for an entire company or organization. I think that's kind of flashy in PR. I think it's going to more move towards being able to deliver value-added content directly to the people who are looking for it by segment, function, or market. So less global, holistic employer branding and more segment and job specific.